This is the video of me saying a lot. Count how many times I said and put it in the comments if you like. I like making boxes. They're relatively short projects. They're rather small. They don't take a lot of room in your shop. And you can explore different joinery methods and different plans. And there's plans for boxes all over the places. About a year ago, I purchased a Woodcraft magazine, and it came with this bonus material on boxes. I have decided to make this box here in the plans. Now, I'm not going to share the plans terribly much. You're going to see me make them. One of the things they're suggesting is to use cherry wood or something to that order because of the grain. And even though I have plenty of cherry, picked out this wood here, which I'm not really sure what it is. Looking at the edge, it's got an open grain to it, but what the heck, we'll use this. I think this is actually oak. I think it's going to come out all right. I picked up significantly more out of my stock than I'm going to need. And I'm going to mill it down. It's amazing how fast milling down wood results in not enough wood. I'm not going to film the milling. I've shown it before. I don't see the necessity to show it again. So that one piece of wood I showed you earlier was indeed oak, and I decided not to use it. But the other two pieces were dogwood. They're actually nice pieces of wood. There's some wormholes in here, but I might be able to work around them. We'll see what the inside brings. Here's another one. Big old wormhole here. I have now milled them so that they're parallel edges. I don't have a jointer, but I do have a planer. So what I use is a sled, and I make sure it's level, and then I run one side, and then I run the other side through to make the parallel. All right, I got my pieces milled and cut to rough size, and I had a small issue, and that is the wood was pretty well worm-holed up, so I added some epoxy with some black dye to it to fill in the holes. This one wasn't so bad, a little bit there, but then on these two smaller pieces here, this one was real bad. And this one was somewhat bad. Now, I don't need all four of these, so this real bad one here, I'll probably end up just storing for later use. The plans call for a curved top, so I had to offset the very first box joint. Cut. I forgot to record it, so what I basically did was I put a block on my miter gauge at 5/8 of an inch from the top, and then I cut the box joints for each of the tops. I don't have a fancy box joint jig. I make mine as I need them, and they're super simple to do, and no need to store a bunch of unnecessary stuff. All it takes is, in this case, I have a data stack, and then I cut a notch using that data stack, and then I fit a piece of wood into the notch. And once I get that matched, I make 2 of them. To make it fit, all you have to do is put the second one and make sure it's on the right hand side of your dado, and then tighten down your jig. Pretty simple. Glue up is always a lot of fun. It's a stressful moment. You're trying to get it done quickly before the glue sets. Box joints are even more joyful. So what I have here is some cowlings that I created to do the corners, and I lined them with tape so that way it doesn't stick. And what I'm going to do is glue each of the fingers and then assemble it, tighten it up with clamps. All right, it has been more than an hour since I glued this up. I think I'm gonna pull them apart, pull the clamps off, and hopefully the hidden bits are not too bad off. We'll see. Here we go. When your shop is small, you find yourself just reorganizing multiple times a day just because you need to have access to your surfaces. So this is just one time today, probably 4 or 5 more times today. Now I want to mention, I really like working with dogwood. It is a nice hardwood, and for those of you who are just getting into woodworking, you're going to lean towards using things like pine to woodwork with, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, I have personally found, and I might be way off base here, but what I have found is using hand tools with pine really kind of stinks. It's no fun. It is, the grain is so rough and so drastic and soft that the hand tools don't cut into it nicely. But with the hardwoods, it is actually a pleasure, and there is a lot of fun in using hand tools with the hardwoods, the true hardwoods. So I made dados on either side of this. This is the lid blank, and it's a little on the loose side, but that's okay, because last thing you want to do is lift your lid up and the whole box comes with it, and then now it's a 2-hand operation. There is an old adage in the woodwork community that is, you never make mistakes, you just make design opportunities. Well, let's say that I just made a design opportunity. The design from the plans has the side of this box is to be curved, okay? The edges are going to be beveled, and then the top is supposed to also be curved, right? But the lid is supposed to match the curve of the top. Well, I kind of made my lids too thin. I can go a couple of ways with this. I could recut new lids, but I kind of hate that because I only have a limited amount of dogwood, and once it's gone, it's gone. The other option is to just go ahead and make it a flat lid, right? And even potentially just do a round over, but I don't think that's going to look too good. Or I got a little bit of meat here that I can work with, and I could just make a very shallow curve instead of a steep one. Or I could mill off some dogwood and make a glue on a piece and then make the curve out of that. Well, that didn't work. I had added a strip of wood to the lid of the box. This is not one of the pieces, but and then I sanded the box to make a round. And as this piece of wood got thinner and thinner and thinner, it got so thin it just started breaking off, and it made a little ridge. So I ended up sanding off the wood. And then what I did was I ran the wood through the table saw. And let's see if I can put my finger in this screen. I ran it through the table saw, being extremely careful. And I have a little, I think it works out to be around 6 degrees angle on the blade. And I cut off the lion's share of the wood. Then all I did was I sanded the ridge to be smooth. And I think that that's going to do the trick. So first step is going to be I'm going to take a pencil here, and I'm going to mark the way the lid looks. Now, the plans call actually to trim the top first and then make the lid match the top. But I think it's going to be easier to do it this way. Now I need to make the curve in the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of scrap wood, make it the same height as this, then cut the curve into that, so then I have a template and I can make multiples. Now I can't use this as a router template because this is too thick here, right? But I can use it on the bandsaw and get close, and then once again sand it into shape. All right, this is what I created. So I'm marking the top because this curve isn't perfect, but if the left and the right match, then it doesn't matter. Then we can say we did it on purpose that way. So here we go. So what we do is take the lid off. Put this on, and I have a mark here. I'll make it clearer for where the board is, right there, and right there, and then we just mark it like that. Do the same thing for the other side. All right, so this is going to be a little bit tricky in the sense that I got to get it right. I don't want to go too tight. The blade is at 4 degrees, right? And what I want to do is make a full cut all the way from bottom to top, but just if I take anything at all on the top, that's probably too much. So what I've done is I measured the width of the box, and it's 3 3/4. So I'll make a cut. Now, if I am successful and I don't take anything from the top, then what will happen is that I will be able to just turn the box around and cut the other side. So here we go. I'm gonna move the camera so it gets out of my way, and we'll give that a shot. See what. If you hear curse words through the time lapse, then you know it didn't work out. Alrighty, so the sides are round. There's a taper. The top is rounded, not as rounded as really the plans called for. I think I'm going to wood burn something in the front. Haven't decided what yet. It needs a final sanding. However, I have one small problem. It's on this box here. It looks pretty much the same as all the two. But one of the problems of milling and using your own wood that's air dried is this type of stuff will happen. Once the wood was changed in strength and size, the stresses on the wood changes, and as a result there's a crack. So this is something I really kind of don't understand. We spend, as woodworkers, we spend a lot of time making sure we clean off the glue on our joints and our joinery, and because the glue is not going to take the stain as well, and you know, it makes it obvious that there is a glue there. And then we decided we're going to fill the hole, and what do? We take some sawdust, and then we add glue to the hole. And the question is, why is this not a problem, but the glue in the joinery that might be exposed is not a problem? I don't know. This is kind of odd to me. I'm gonna fill that too. But you know, it is what it is, as they so eloquently say in the big city. When you make your putty, I like to make it a little on the thick side, so then you have to kind of push it in to the hole. But then I'm pretty sure it's not going to run out because it's thick. Put 2 coats of shellac finish and sand it at 220 between the coats. It came out looking rather nice.
I like it.
Finally, just remember, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10, good job.